Catastrophic news coming out of Germany. Obviously, we're not talking about the Bundesliga. What are we? Some normal, stupid channel that talks about, fake leagues? No, we're talking about the real leagues. We're talking about the German regional leagues, the eighth tier of the German footballing system, which is basically broken into a bunch of regional leagues all over the place. But I guarantee you that the league in which we are talking about today, is one of the 30-something best leagues in Germany, allegedly. I'm just going to start with a headline that will produce more questions than answers, but will inspire you, engage you in this enthralling tale of child violence. Okay, child bites referee. Cool. In the testicles. The Sunday League match in Duisburg canceled as a result of the child biting a referee in the testicles. Now, I understand that there might be a lot of confusion about this. Now, fortunately, we spent a little bit of time on Zealand's stream talking about this very incident. And we have discovered, obviously, that this is linked to a German language article that gives us a little bit more information. So we're going to take that. This was a huge matchup between FC Taxi Duisburg 2 and SV Rot-Weiss Mülheim. Obviously, huge matchup in the Kreisliga C. Now, these people that wrote this article, look, I understand you being a little afraid to delve into the lower leagues of Germany. Not all of us are cut out for it. It's just not a place that most of us want to go. Unfortunately for them, I want to go there, and I know the fact that there are a lot of Kreisliga Cs out there, but they didn't specify which region of the Kreisliga C that this happened in, so I guess I'm just going to have to live in a regionless world where this taxi Duisburg could be anywhere, maybe in Duisburg, but they could be anywhere in any one of these regions. Just unbelievable. Yeah, where are our journalistic standards these days? On a more real note, thank you so much for writing this story. Is part of the routine. Now, here's what actually happened. Fortunately for us, despite the fact they didn't know what regional league that it was or that they needed to specify that they did uncover the truth as part of routine pre-match protocol. Here we go. Referee Stefan Kohler was conducting ID checks on players. So this is a level of football where you basically get the players together, you check their IDs to make sure they are who the roster says they're supposed to be, and then you're able to kind of start the match. When a young child, the son of a player on FC Taxi, totally unrelated, the name of that FC Taxi Duisburg player is Luis Suarez, new signing. They're excited. They're optimistic that somebody with some foreign footballing influence might be able to help them there. But yeah, a child of could be any FC Taxi player, doesn't have to be Luis Suarez, was running around the field according to the National World. As Kohler continued his pregame duties, the child unexpectedly approached him and bit him in the testicle. Now, I realize this provides a little bit more context as to how this happened and what exactly happened, but I still have so many questions that I'm hoping this quote can answer, because this is a quote from the actual referee, Stefan Kohler. While I was checking the FC Taxi player's ID, a small child was doing warm-up exercises alongside the players. He came closer and closer to me, then suddenly, to my complete surprise, I hope so, gave me a sharp bite in my left testicle. So at least we're specifying which testicle it is so that we can more accurately recreate this in the lab to try and diagnose exactly where everything went wrong. I think it's when Hannibal didn't burn Rome, and then we've just been on a downward spiral ever since. Kohler said this in his report, which was obtained by this particular news outlet, the Latin Times here. The injury was severe enough that Kohler, in significant pain, had to call off the match before it even began. In his official report, he confirmed that he could not officiate due to the pain and the bizarre nature of the incident. I did not start the game because the pain I was in the situation. It was the child of one of the FC Taxi players who was to blame. So now we're blaming children. Although, yeah. Look, I realize the initial reaction is we're really going to blame, I'm assuming a 4-year-old or like a 5-year-old for this. But, I mean, not every kid's going around chomping on testicles. I don't know what you were doing when you were growing up, but it probably wasn't that. I never saw some balls hanging there and I was like, yum, lunch, right? Like that didn't cross my mind in my adolescence. The game, fortunately, will be rescheduled, and I appreciate them specifying it remains to be uncertain whether Caller will return as the referee. Now, this doesn't even begin to answer, to me, some of the most important questions around this. One, how is it possible that your balls are that accessible in this situation? All right, so you are checking the IDs of the players on both of the teams. You're going down the line. I'm assuming this means at this point you are in full match garb, full-blown referee garb. Are you not wearing, like, athletic underwear? You know, like tight underwear. You know, the sort of underwear, slides is what we call them in the U.S., but I don't know if there's probably different words for them all over the world, and you guys are from all over the world, right? But, you know, like tight underwear, at least briefs, right? You're not free balling it while you're out here being a referee, just jangling the royal jewels around, running around trying to officiate a game. And I'm going to be honest, even if you are, you're wearing shorts. I mean, what kind of cantaloupes is this guy working with that you can even acquire a testicle through the pants here? Right? I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. If I'm wearing athletic shorts, even if I'm wearing boxers, there's no way you're going to be able to, like, acquire the left testicle from what you're seeing right there. Right? The shorts are loose. Right? There's no way. I don't understand how this happens. Like, obviously, I know how you get hit in the nuts, but to be able to bite a testicle, how's it possible? I mean, is this guy commando wearing, like, super tight shorts? I mean, that's really the only way I can imagine that you'd be able to be like, oh, his nuts, there they are, right? I'm not trying to victim blame here, although it sounds like I am. I'm just trying to understand. I am sure that there is a logical explanation for why this man's testiculars were just out in the wind. But his shit was out in the wind, right? I mean, it's not like if we are dealing with a child that is young enough, right? We're dealing with a child that's old enough to walk. So we're going 2, 3 probably to like 5 years old because you want to stop at a point where you can kind of have a conversation with the child. And I would hope that if this is, you know, an 8 or a 9-year-old, they're not chomping on testicles, right? And so we have an age range here of a child, right? But in that age range is not going to be somebody that's going to be able to discern what's, like, obviously they probably didn't know what was going on. I can't create the hypothetical situation where there is a child walking around on the field during this phase of the game that is able to just walk up to a referee and chomp their nuts. I don't understand it. I may never understand it. I'm trying to create that hypothetical in my mind. It's not hypotheticaling. I just don't see it. It's not coming up in my mind's eye. I don't understand it at all. And then he says he kind of snuck up on him. Like, what, from behind? This child, like, I mean, it sounds like he knew the kid was there, right? This wasn't a sneak attack from the kid, like, you know, picking, I don't know, coconuts out of a tree, like, got him, you know, like, this kid was just hovering around and then launched the final assault. Now, the one thing that does make sense to me, that definitely makes sense to me, is that this guy was in too much pain to referee the game. And kind of on top of that, and the situation, that it was just really weird and awkward that a kid of one of the players had bitten the testicle of the ref. I'm assuming that is what they're referring to by saying "and the situation." Well, I'm sure very few men on the face of the earth have ever had a child, and I'm specifying here because you can be whatever, you can be into whatever you're into, but a child that knows not what they are doing, biting at full strength on their left testicle. Maybe they're right, but never their left. Right? That one's a little more sheltered. Okay? That has to hurt so bad. So bad. I can't even imagine how bad that has to hurt. So that all passes the smell test. This dude was in excruciating pain after this happened. But I'm going to require a full Kreisliga C Duisburg investigation into how this referee was in a position where his testicles were targetable, right? Because I'm going to be honest, there should be a 0% chance. You should be wearing athletic underwear, and if that is not required in the 8th Division of Germany before this incident, it should be required afterwards. Athletic underwear. Strap them boys up. It's time to play. All right. And now you got to strap them boys up so they don't get bit off. Okay. There's a new sheriff in town, and he doesn't like balls, apparently.